Your morning routine can either make or break your success. The choice is yours. But I don't feel like enough people really understand the value and the power of a morning routine, and more importantly, how to create a realistic one. And so in today's video, I want to walk you through the exact process of how you can effectively create a realistic morning routine, and dare I even say, fun. The first step to creating a realistic morning routine is understanding the value of it. I could sit here and talk about morning routines until I'm blue in the face. And trust me, I will if you want me to, because I love it so much. But that doesn't benefit you if you don't have buy-in, if you don't see why it matters to you. Several years ago, I remember my aunt was in a health coach certification program and ranting and raving about all these foods that were unhealthy and why we should get rid of them. And she kept trying to sell me reasons to get rid of dairy and milk and cheese, all the things that I loved. And I'm like, no way. There was no value in it for me, until my daughter was later diagnosed with lactose intolerance. And I'm like, okay, now there's value. And I bought into it for a reason. And so this is why I feel like it's important that we buy into a morning routine and we understand the value that it has for us. We hear people talk about it all the time, but if you're like most people, you're like, I don't like mornings already. I feel overwhelmed and exhausted and busy. There's no time for a morning routine. Then hear me out. Research says that the first 20 minutes after you wake up is when your mind is most vulnerable. Essentially, your brain is in an alpha state, which is the gateway to the subconscious mind. So whatever you're feeding your brain during that time is where your mind is going to be most impressionable. Now, stop and think about it. How are you spending those first 20 minutes after you open your eyes? Are you scrolling social media? Are you checking your text messages or responding to emails or turning on the news? No judgment. But the truth is, if that's how you're spending the first 20 minutes after you wake up, it's no wonder that you're exhausted before the day even begins. It's no wonder that you feel this intense feeling of urgency that you're carrying throughout the day, and then you carry anxiety and overwhelm always and normalize it. I don't want this for you. And this is why when I learned and really understood the value of the science behind it, I realized that in order to maximize my success, I have to leverage the way in which I'm spending my morning, because your subconscious mind is the most powerful thing that you have access to. And when you feed it with things that are causing anxiety or overwhelm before your day begins, you're already setting yourself up for failure before the day even starts. Don't do that. Now, understanding the science behind your brain being vulnerable in the morning, it is so important that you also see that you get to control that. You get to feed your brain with the things that are going to serve your success. And it's important to note that it doesn't have to be some comprehensive, huge, exhausting morning routine. You just need 20 minutes that you give to yourself that will literally change your results, and you're worth that. So, in order to create a realistic morning routine, the first step is really understanding why it's important, which I just went over and explained. The second step is to give yourself something to look forward to. When I was building out my morning routine, for me, reading was something that I really looked forward to. I love being able to expand my knowledge. I love being able to learn new things. I love being able to take things back and apply it. I love kind of getting a break from what I'm thinking and feeling and seeing something new. And so reading became that thing that I looked forward to. For you, it might be yoga or stretching or praying or listing gratitude or getting a cup of coffee. And all of those things are great, because what you can do is you can be mindful in that process. So as you're drinking coffee, you can really be mindful in the process of you digesting that. As you're listing your gratitude, you can really anchor in the feeling of gratitude and be mindful of what it is that you're experiencing as you're listing that. The point is, when you give yourself something to look forward to in the morning, you're more likely to commit to making that a habit because it lights you up. You're excited about it. So what is something that you look forward to in the morning that you can begin to build into your morning routine? I'd love for you to list that below. The third and final step to creating a realistic morning routine is to be consistent. The biggest mistake that you can make on the journey to really creating a habit out of your morning routine is to convince yourself that it has to be some huge, massive step, that you have to read 30 pages a day, and that you have to exercise for 30 minutes, and that you have to eat something specific or whatever it may be. The point is to be consistent. Consistency is key. And I know that you hear that all the time, but I want to really explain that. Those small, seemingly meaningless steps that you commit to add up to massive results. For example, if you commit to reading 20 pages a day, that can equal over 30 books a year on average. If you commit to saving $10 per day, that can equal $3,650 at the end of the year. If you commit to running 1 mile a day, that equals 365 miles at the end of the year. You get it. And what that shows you is that 1 mile doesn't mean anything. $10 doesn't mean anything. 20 pages may be simple, but just committing a little bit at a time can add up. Those small habits are underestimated. And the more you commit to those small habits, the more it becomes normal and just a part of your routine. So as you are building out your morning routine, I want you to just ask yourself, how can I be committed every single day? And what is one small decision that I can make that my future self will thank me for? And when you commit to those small, seemingly meaningless decisions, your results reflect it. If you want to learn more about how you can effectively maximize your morning, I invite you to grab a copy of Master Your Morning. This is my book where I walk you through an 8-step strategy that helps you to understand how you can master your morning and literally transform your success. The best part about the book Master Your Morning is there's not some one-size-fits-all strategy to maximizing your morning. Instead, I'm teaching you strategies and tools that you can begin to incorporate in your morning routine, whether you're busy, whether you hate mornings or love them, but in a way that's sustainable, doable, and fun. So if you are ready to maximize your mornings, create a realistic routine, and transform your success, I invite you to grab Master Your Morning. And trust me when I say that you will be forever grateful that you did. The link is below. And I can't wait to hear how this begins to literally transform your life.